Still listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. I am Sandra Ezekwesili. Why are women getting harassed for wearing abayas? We're talking about this because it's happening in different parts of Nigeria. I started noticing the conversation on social media about 3 weeks ago. Apparently, men of different ages are accosting abaya wearing women in public. They're claiming that it's not a decent way for a Muslim woman to dress, that she's too exposed. And these women are subjected to all kinds of assault, from heckling to insults to physical assault. If you're watching us on Facebook at the moment, I'm playing footage for you of one of such incidents. But if you cannot watch, let me play a bit of a clip for you right here on the show. Yes, if you're seeing us on Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3, where we're streaming live, YouTube, Nigeria Info FM as well, and you can see for yourself what we're talking about. Now, more and more Muslim women are fighting back. They're challenging the harassment, and they're saying enough is enough. If you're watching Facebook, you're also seeing lots of women who showed up in public, showed up to school, showed up in different public spaces in their abayas, saying enough is enough. The live stream is Nigeria Info 99.3, Facebook, that's Nigeria Info 99.3, YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. So today, that's what we're talking about. I'm trying to find out exactly what's going on. You know, when did it start? Why did it start? What's going to be done to protect Muslim women from these attacks? Joining me to discuss this issue are three Muslims with better context and better insights on the subject. My first guest is a foreign policy analyst. She was on the Big Hard Fact previously to discuss the UK Parliament's inquiry into the Lekki tollgate shooting. Nima Rigbabu, welcome to the Glass Ceiling. You're muted.
Right, sorry.
It's okay.
Hi Sandra, thank you for having me. Hi Fayez, hi Rafia. How is everyone doing?
My second guest is the Programs Director for Seed Builders Foundation, Faiz Aliyu. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Thank you very much for having me. Hello, everyone.
And I'm really excited about my third guest. She's a voiceover artist. She's a podcast host. She's a producer. And she's a regular caller on the Glass Ceiling. Rafia Takinwate, welcome to the Glass Ceiling as a guest.
Hello, it's really exciting to be here. I'm literally struggling with making a landscape, but I'm really excited to be here.
You've
really
gotten
excited.
it. You've gotten it.
Hello, Five.
You finally gotten the hang of it. So just leave it like this and place it on something so it stops shaking. Now, when you hear the names on this panel and when you hear what they do for a living, you see that we've got women here, we've got a man here, and you see that in a normal world, this should be on the Big Hard Fact. You know, people like this should be on the Big Hard Fact, talking about vital issues. Rafiat and Faiz should be on Balogun and Broad, for instance, telling us about the voiceover industry and about running innovation hubs. Nima should be discussing foreign policy with us on the Big Hard Fact or on Big Three Global. Instead, we have these very successful Nigerians having to come and discuss clothes. Because that's what this is. Now, clothes, they can't discuss. Why? Because when they are walking on the streets, when two of them at least are walking on the streets, like any other woman, they can become the subjects of harassment and assault in a society where some people think that a woman's clothing choice is their business. So we're forced to spend time in the 21st century discussing clothes. A conversation that doesn't belong in the 21st century. But now here we do. So Lagos, we want to hear from you as well, oh. What do you have to say about the ongoing harassment of women wearing abayas? What questions do you have for our guests? What do you think can be done to protect women from this type of harassment? And what do you think can be done to make men less ready to harass women in this way? Now, let me start with you, Nima. Before we get into it, I think that you guys need to explain what exactly an abaya is. How is an abaya different from, say, a hijab? Is anybody on the call today wearing an abaya? By the way, you can watch on Facebook so that you can see how my guests modest dressed. How is an abaya different from a hijab? How is it different from a burqa? How is it different from a niqab? I know that these are all mostly different, but I think it's necessary to explain to Lagos exactly what they are so that there's some context to the conversation. Nima.
Okay. Yeah, let me just go right into it. So Islamically, women are expected to, dress dress modestly. Not just women, actually, including men. We're all told, to dress in a modest manner. We don't show our skin, or don't show, parts that are for our partners or for our own self. Sorry, there's construction going on outside my window.
Okay.
You'll be hearing a lot of that. So, we're expected to dress in a very modest manner, including men, which is why you see that in most Arabic countries or in most Islamic countries, you find out that the men also have things that they have on their head and all in the name of modest, right? For the women, we wear the long gown, which is abayas are in line with modesty as well. It's free. It's not something that it's body hugging or is showing any part of your body. The hijab is the one that you will have on your head. In fact, everything in Islam in line with modesty can also be termed as a hijab, because hijab is basically covering your innermost self, right? But these days you find out that the hijab is the one that most people wear on their head and up onto their shoulders and everything like that. Now you also have please can you give me 1 minute? Can Rafiat go before me? I need to actually answer something.
Oh, it's okay. Rafiat, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so just like Nima was saying, the hijab is what you have on your head. The jalab, or for a lack of better word, is actually one that is much more longer, but than the conventional hijab that some people use now, that doesn't really go beyond, say, the bosom. Some have jalabs that are completely down, covered and complete. And then the niqab will be the extra layer, or where people have the one that covers their eyes and they're covered completely, looking more like a mask, but it's not a mask, where they're still able to see. And those are just like different layers and different, all of them actually are all supposed to be a form of hijab, a form of covering for you, a form of veiling for Muslim women to protect us, to protect yourself, to look modest, and to present yourself as a Muslim person in society. So all of that are part of it. Abaya is just another, it's also a modest type of clothing that we wear, or all that is supposed to be free, without any extravagant design or anything like that. It's just that, how it is when people are given a particular thing to wear, there are always going to be modifications coming up over time. So abayas are just more of a modification of another kind of modest clothing that you can wear, that are also fashionable, but at the same time conform to the Islamic mode of dressing. So nothing special, nothing different from the hijab or the jalab or whatever. It's just that these are a little bit more fashionable in the sense that the way that they're done, maybe the design of the hands or the stones that they have, or some kind of coloring or stuff like that.
I see. Faiz, where did this backlash against wearing abayas start? I mean, I've never heard this before. I've never heard about this as an issue before now. Where did it start, Faiz?
So it started, actually, funny enough, from a Twitter post.
Okay.
Sometime during Salah, there was a Twitter post talking about how young women are only interested in wearing abayas versus wearing the more traditional garbs that they wear as either Hausa or Kanuri or Northern. So it turns out, of course, that modern abayas, just as Rafia explained, are a lot more extravagant these days. And they're a lot more fashionable. A lot of them are more expensive. And so there was this abaya challenge that started off where young women were challenging their boyfriends or their husbands or their significant others to buy them an expensive abaya. And if you couldn't meet up, then obviously you weren't somebody that she should continue dating. That's how it started. It was really for lack of a better word, it was just a joke, really, that started on social media. But then it took on a life of its own, where people started making the assumption that, oh, this is women being greedy. This is women thinking of their financial gain from any situation. And it cascaded there onto, oh, abayas probably shouldn't be allowed in the first place because they're expensive and extravagant. Oh, you're probably wearing this only to get people's attention. Oh, you probably cheated some young man or some old man, really, to get his money and get this for you. You shouldn't be wearing it. And as you can see, all of those things play into stereotypical ideas that, people have about women, young men especially have about women. So it cascaded from there and morphed into a derogatory issue with a life of its own.
Miss Naima, do you agree that that's where it started, this backlash against wearing abayas? Do you think that's where it started? Because Pai says it started as a joke and then morphed into this ugly thing offline.
So I won't really say it did start as a joke, because this isn't the first time that Muslim women are actually being, attacked, harassed, and, called out for different things. I mean, I've had friends who would even go to Saudi Arabia, and when they're doing the tawaf around the Kaaba, you have people groping them, you have people sexually assaulting them, even when they're dressed in a modest manner. So it stems from the fact that actually there's this culture that, most Muslim men who listen to, God knows what kind of scholars, believe that women are things that, they are meant to use or say anything to, or just attack. Do you understand? For no reason.
Okay.
When this thing started, right? It started with the abaya challenge. Actually, you had women, dressing, having the abaya, and they were actually looking forward to Eid, which is what we do. We all, get glammed up, dressed up, saying, "Oh, this is how we want to dress during Eid. This is how we intend to behave during Eid." Now, when that happened, you had some scholars using their platform, right, to claim that Muslim women or parents should pay attention to their girls, right, and where they get gifts from, saying that the idea of them getting, they shouldn't think of only the abaya, like wherever the gift is coming from, men can actually give them the abaya and want to sleep with them, right? That parents should pay attention to where the abaya gift is coming from, and that men can also, because they want to impress women, they would want to do anything to buy abaya for them. And when they buy the abaya for them, they collect the abaya, and it simply means they're entitled to their bodies. Now, that in itself, having a scholar saying something in that manner just shows that they do not see women as people who can actually buy things for themselves, who can actually do things because they want to, who can actually decide that, oh, I'm wearing this because I want to wear it, right? The belief is that somebody has to buy it for you. And when they do, because there's the notion of transactional relationship between men and women, they would have to also do something in return. Now, according to some people, they were like, oh, this thing that the scholars said was just harmless, right? They were giving advice. What they didn't realize is that most of the scholars have followers, and how these followers also interpret the message is on the scholars themselves. If you're saying something in that manner, saying that, oh, women should, parents should pay attention to where the girls get things from, and things like that, a layman or an outsider can just, take that message as though you're saying that she's prostituting for something. Now, if you follow the trend of event that happened shortly after the scholars said what they said, you realize that young men would see women on the road and call them different names, harass them just because of what they were wearing. No scholar then came out to say, you know what? With all of this, I only heard about one that apologized, and this was after the damage was done. None of the people that said so much during this Abaya challenge issue did not say, young men, stop what you're doing, because what you're doing is against the tenets of Islam. So when the scholars are making, whatever conversations or what their khutbah or whatever they have to say or against women's bodies, it gives their followers some sort of leverage to act upon what has been said.
I see. Rafiat, is there a scriptural basis for this hostility to abayas in the Quran? Or is this an interpretation by some particular imams? Or is this a cultural issue? Now, I know that in Christianity, some denominations put more restrictions on women's dressing than others. And it's worse in some countries and cultures than others. Is it the same thing with the abaya in Islam? Rafiat?
Islam specifies modesty for both men and women, not just women alone, both men and women. So for this hostility against women as regards how women are wearing the abaya, there's absolutely no basis of that in the Quran or the Hadith. And something that I also wanted to raise is the fact that this whole abaya thing and harassing women in abayas is the fact that, and this is from the north, right? The northern men, for example, northern Muslim men have always been very, I don't know the word I want to use right now. They've always been known to harass people. Because when that stuff broke out, that was how I felt about it. They've always been known to harass ladies. If you were wearing jeans, if you were putting on a clothes that they deemed in their minds immodest, even if you were not a Muslim, you were going to be harassed. As a girl, as young as 8 years old, riding my bicycle, my brothers had to be with me because I was getting harassed. I was 8 years old because I was putting on, trousers and riding a bicycle. So it has always been that trend, and that nobody addressed that trend. So as soon as they found something to hold on to accuse these women putting on abayas on, just like Nima has explained, these clerics came out and made this announcement. What they had in their mind, as somebody who was growing up in the north, and I know how these people think a little bit, is if you're putting on an abaya, you're obviously wearing something immodest because you got it from a man. That was how they translated it. So at that point for them, you became an object for them to harass. Do you understand? So that's where there's no basis for this in the Quran or the Hadith. I'm sure Faiz will come up with the verses. There's no basis for that. When it comes to dressing as a Muslim, it's not just the women that are supposed to be modest or dress modestly or anything. Even the men are supposed to dress modestly. And as much as your clothes is free flowing, it's how would I put it? It's free flowing, it's comfortable, and you are going about your business. You do not no man has any right to abuse you. And even if you're not even wearing that, no man has any right to abuse you, because Islam specifically says, lower your gaze to the men. Lower your gaze. If you're lowering your gaze as a man, how are you seeing that somebody is wearing something that is immodest in the first place?
Good question.
But it's because you're not even you're not. I mean, some people will come up with the verses that the hadith that says, "Oh, if you see something wrong, correct it with your hand. If you see something wrong, correct it with But you cannot, for sure, correct anybody that you don't know. Because somebody walking on the streets, that hadith applies to people that you know, people that you have in your community, people that you don't know, you cannot do that. And when that abaya harassment started, I felt very pained, because it took me back to those years growing up in Kano, where I was getting stoned and harassed on my bicycle because I was wearing trousers, and I was 8 years old. So when a trend starts and you don't address that trend, it's going to come to your doorstep. And that's what happened with the abaya thing. Okay, yeah, you were harassing ladies with trousers. All the elders probably felt of air, they are not dressing immodest in their own analysis until it became ladies who are actually wearing abaya and are supposed to be modest according to all the culture and Quranic rights. So it now became, oh wow, so this is a thing, we have to address it.
Okay.
And yeah,
Okay. We will come back to this. Rafiat is very fired up. Lagos, if you just tuned in, you're listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Every Wednesday, we bring you the glass ceiling, and on the glass ceiling, we talk about the different invisible barriers that women face at home, in the workplace, in society in general. And today, it turns out that women are getting harassed for wearing abayas. I've got Faiz on the show with me today. I've got Nima on the show with me today. And I've got Rafiat. You've heard her on air several times as a caller. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, I have amazing information from Jumia to you. So do you know it's Jumia season all year? Now this season we are celebrating Jumia's 9th anniversary, and Jumia is doing it in a really big way this year by rewarding all its amazing users with amazing deals. Now Jumia is commemorating its 9th anniversary by giving you a 90% discount when you buy 9 items or more from the Jumia app or website. Now, this promo is open to everyone. Just buy 9 items of your choice, from electronics to appliances, kitchenwares, laptops, accessories, and many more. All you have to do is go to Google Play or the iOS store now and download the app to enjoy this amazing promo. Now, all you have to do is go to Google Play or an iOS store and download the Jumia app to access this amazing promo. Now, if food is your thing, then look no further, because Jumia Food has your back and it is its season. Now, as Jumia Food is also giving you a 90% discount on your orders, order 9 food items or more on the Jumia Food app and you can also enjoy this amazing promo. Jumia is 9. Celebrate with Jumia and have this promo from Jumia. Jumia is 9 and they want you to celebrate with them. Now, access this amazing promo and celebrate with Jumia. Don't miss this amazing offer.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back. It's Jumia's 9th anniversary from the 11th to the 27th of June. Code word Versary. Yes, everything anniversary.
Say what?
Phoneversary. Get phones at unbeatable prices.
Okay, let me try. Homeversary?
Yup, you get up to 30% off on home appliances, plus daily flash sales and amazing giveaways, including free delivery for 1 year.
With Jumia 9th anniversary sale, celebrate your everyday from the 11th to the 27th of June 2021.
Jumia, your everyday delivered.
Home. There's something about it. From the feeling of peace and serenity.
Bros. Why so deep? Home is anywhere the Airtel home broadband is. That's all.
Enjoy more data than before on Airtel Home Broadband. Get a router for 25,000 naira with up to 160 gigabyte and a MiFi for 12,000 naira with up to 55 gigabyte. Reliable home broadband by
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Coming. Hi. Look at you. Look different. Really? Oh yes. How's your mommy and daddy? They're fine. Tell me, what do you have in your hand? Oh, this? It's Agent Home Young Landlord Flyers. Tell me about it. As you're looking at me now, I'm a young landlord at Agent Homes. My parents started investing in my future since I was 10 years old, making it known to me that even as a child, my dreams are valid. Wow! Tell me more.
With Adrian Homes, every child's dream is valid. Invest in your child's future today by subscribing into our Young Landlords Plan package. You can also pay as low as 25,000 naira, 50,000 naira, and 100,000 naira. And you can also enjoy up to 50% discount on all our estates. Secure your child's future today. For more information, you can call 080-3556-4317 or 080-2325-5398. In Adrian Homes, every child's dream is valid.
Your
Your Friday afternoons just got better on Downfall Conversations with Ireti Bakare Yusuf.
People need to be very careful. There's a friend of mine that has been trafficked for how many years now? I'm just talking about an educated person from an office. She just met a child, they went for a vacation, and like that, that's how she was trafficked.
People are afraid to seek or ask the right question because they're afraid of surgery. I call it 2 F's that affects women with fibroids: fear and fund.
When you have a child less than 12 years, as I said, housewife, it's child trafficking already.
Of course.
Child trafficking. So you shouldn't have a housewife that is less than 12 years.
Tune in to Downfall Conversations with Ireti Bakare Yusuf every Friday from 1 to 2:30 p.m. right here on your number one station for talk, 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
You get money for account. You want take small thing inside. Just do cardless withdrawal with any Momo agent. Oga, madam, where is your card? I don't forget them for house. You fit do cardless withdrawal with any Momo agent. Anytime you need the money, but your card is there for yonder. Just go do cardless withdrawal with any Momo agent. Cardless withdrawal with Momo agent. With Momo agent. Card withdraw with Momo agent. With any Momo agent.
Now you fit withdraw money even if you not hold your card for any Momo agents where they near you. Just dial *223# to take touchlight the Momo agent where they near your domot. Momo agent. Safe, fast, no wahala.
Enter the place and it brighten. Make everybody they wonder. Waiting because of the shine. Lush hair. Long hair or short doesn't matter. Crochet or dreadlocks can be better. Only for girls we know better. Lush hair. So you want to slay? Slay with swag. Gotta be lush hair. Gotta be lush hair. Straight or curly. You know they tango. Lie. Gotta be lush hair. Gotta be lush hair. You wonder how I shine like this. I'm on a lush hair, be the coco. Say you want to know. And if you wanna be fine like me, I can show you where to go. A lush hair, be the coco.
Beautiful people know how to make an impression, and that's why they only trust Lush Hair Extensions to bring out the shine in them. Lush Hair, be beautiful.
Ever so often, we hear billions and billions of naira stolen by politicians. After a little noise, the matter dies down. Do you wonder what happens to all that money? Bad roads, poor power supply, police brutality. Everyone is asking when Nigeria will get better. 54% of interactions with the police end in payment of bribes. A 2019 report shows that about 117 million naira is paid as bribes yearly in Nigeria. Nigerians, say no to corruption. Demand that your lawmakers do the job you elected them to do. Don't ask for or pay bribes. Demand that elected officials pass anti-corruption laws and prosecute offenders. Like Alice Walker said, the most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. Work with SERAP to demand accountability from elected officials. Visit www.serap-nigeria.org now to sign a petition to demand good governance. This message is from the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, with support from the MacArthur Foundation.
You have probably heard that the best investment on earth is earth. And that's why finding the best organization to build assets in real estate is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make. At GMH Luxury, you'll find out we are a dependable partner in luxurious real estate solutions. Over the years, we have been in the business of providing the middle and high income earners with standard, luxurious and affordable homes. We are 100% available to assist smart investors build their assets in real estate through evaluation and business appraisal of such investments. And this we do for free. Yes, for free. It's a huge decision, but it begins with a step. And we will be with you all through till you sit proudly in a home you can call yours. Contact GMH Luxury today at www.gmhluxury.com. For further inquiries, call 00969 70,000 or 009 666 6617.
Hi there. If anyone ever asks you for your banking app, password or PIN, your card PIN or the 3 numbers on the back of your card, your pay ID or answers to your security questions, do not give it to them. These details are private and highly confidential. They must never be shared. Stay smart. Don't lose your money to scammers. This message is from Kuda Microfinance Bank, the bank of the free. Download Kuda on the Play Store or the App Store and open an account to enjoy free banking.
It's Jumia's 9th anniversary from the 11th to the 27th of June. Code word versary. Yes, everything anniversary.
Say what?
Phoneversary. Get phones at unbeatable prices.
Okay, let me try. Homeversary?
Yup, you get up to 30% off on home appliances, plus daily flash sales and amazing giveaways, including free delivery for 1 year.
With Jumia 9th anniversary sale, celebrate your everyday from the 11th to the 27th of June 2021.
Jumia, your everyday delivered.
Fellow Nigerians, here are 5 tips to help tell the fake news from real news. 1. Check the source. 2. Search for other sources. You should always have at least 2 reputable sources for a story before you believe it or share. 3. Investigate the article. If you're still unsure, start looking at the article itself. Check the date to make sure it's current. 4. Visit Africa Check website. If a story has been widely viewed, it most likely has been examined by one of the many fact-checking websites like africacheck.org. 5. When in doubt, don't share. This message is brought to you by Africa Check. For more tips, add us on WhatsApp on 0908 377 7789. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at AfricaCheck_NG.
Home. There's something about it. From the feeling of peace and serenity.
Bros. Why so deep? Home is anywhere the Airtel home broadband is. That's all.
Enjoy more data than before on Airtel Home Broadband. Get a router for 25,000 naira with up to 160 gigabyte and a MiFi for 12,000 naira with up to 55 gigabyte. Reliable home broadband by
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Hey, Rent Money will lend you up to 6 million naira in 24 hours for business or personal needs. So, for loans of up to 6 million naira, visit rentmoney.com or call 0700 5500. Call us now. Our phone lines are open till 11 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. Need money? Rent Money. Playground for kings.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
Yes, indeed. Let's talk. It's 4:37. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. We're asking today, why are women getting harassed for wearing abayas? I have on the show with me great guests. One of them is a foreign policy analyst. She was on the Big Hard Fact before to discuss the UK Parliament's inquiry into the Lekki tollgate shooting, Nima Arigbabu. My second guest is the programs director for Seed Builders Foundation, Faiz Aliyu. And my third guest is a listener who's also a voiceover artist, podcast host and producer, Rafiat Akinwade. And together we've been taking a look at why this is a problem. Why is this happening? Why are we in 2021 talking about what women wear? So far, we've talked about the difference between abaya and the hijab and the burqa and the niqab. And then we've talked about where this harassment started from. Where did it originate from? And now my question is if there is a scriptural basis for the hostility to abayas. Rafiat, before the break, said said no. I wonder if Faiz agrees. Faiz, is there a scriptural basis for this hostility to abayas in the Quran, or is this an interpretation by some particular imams, like Miss Naima was talking about before the break, or is this a cultural issue? I mentioned that in Christianity, some denominations put more restrictions on women's dressing than others, and it's worse in some countries and in some cultures than others. So is it the same thing with the abaya in Islam, Faiz?
So the abaya was designed to be a symbol of modesty in one way. So there isn't anything about the abaya in of itself that could be construed as being immodest, or could be construed as going against scriptural precepts in Islam, whether that's on the Quranic or Hadith basis. The truth of the matter is that all of this is symptomatic of cultural and social views surrounding women. Right? When you live in a society whereby violence against women is either excused, habitualized, ignored, or condoned, it eventually morphs and metamorphosizes into a reality whereby you're raising young men who do not value women as individuals. Now, that would be the case whether we were talking about the North, the South, the East, or the West. It wouldn't really matter. This is the reality that we live in within Nigeria. Now, in the special context of Northern Nigeria, what's happening is that, unfortunately, we've reached a point where there is a breakdown in what is considered in what people consider their values, in what people consider what is right, what is just, and what is acceptable in terms of conduct towards women. Now, that is happening because of a general breakdown in Nigerian society across board. Because normally you'd argue that there's no way that you would see a woman in a abaya in a city like Kano and she would be attacked for it. But what's happening here is that there is such a breakdown in moral values, in justice between genders, in understanding how it is that you are supposed to treat and respect other women, that that barrier has now completely disappeared. I do think it's important to recognize that for the most part, the vast majority of people who saw those videos online were rightly perturbed by them. And the university in question in which it took place did take steps to suspend all the young men who were found to be guilty of harassing these women. However, I do think that this is something that society needs to take note of because, like I said, we live in a society where these sort of actions are habitualized. And if there is no justice meted out, if there is no one in which young women can go to, or women in general can go to, and knowing that they can receive justice for harassment, for abuse, for any discrimination meted against them, then of course it's going to continue going on and it's going to increase in both volume, frequency, and intensity, simply because justice isn't being done. Now, we've reached that point where there is no difference between, people don't recognize the difference between modesty and immodesty. It's more about harassing people in general.
I see. Lagos, let's talk, shall we? I see that you're calling. You've been calling before the break, so let me give you a chance to get in on the conversation. We want to hear from you. What do you have to say about this issue, this harassment of women wearing abayas? What questions do you have for our guests about it? What do you think can be done to protect women from this type of harassment? And what do you think can be done to make men less ready to harass women in this way? Women, call us on 01465-7190, 01465-7190. Men, call us on 0700-993-993-993. We're streaming live on Facebook as well. Facebook's Nigeria Info 99.3. We're streaming on YouTube as well, Nigeria Info FM. And we have WhatsApp, by the way. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. We've got a message here from you didn't leave your name, but you say that the two ladies have perfectly described the various forms of dressing in Islam. The abaya issue came off from the preaching of a sheikh in the northern part of the country that ladies whose parents who couldn't afford basic things are now dressing in very expensive abayas. So he basically insinuated that these ladies are actually getting these dresses in a promiscuous way. I have a friend who's a Christian but lives in the north, and she likes wearing the abaya, and she's also being harassed by even women who think that she is immoral. Nima is actually on point. Thank you very much for your message. Lagos, send your comments to WhatsApp 080-959-75805. Hello, thank you for calling us.
Hello, Sandra.
How are you? Good evening. What's your name?
Yeah, this is Bola speaking from Ojo.
Hi, Bola.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I greet your guests in the studio there, right? They have spoken well. But I feel this kind of topic or issue, fine, they have spoken well as well, but it needs some people, some scholars who are grounded, be it women or men, who are religiously grounded and knowledgeable, mindful about the Islamic ethics and the Islamic teachings and every other thing. Because I've been speaking since morning, I've not had anything from them concerning backing up whatever they are saying, maybe be it from Hadith or from the Quran or whatever. So I feel, anything that has to do with religious issue like this.
Are you Muslim? Bola, are you Muslim?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Okay, and you didn't hear them when they were talking about what the hadith and the different other Islamic texts had to say about abaya?
They are just saying it on a random basis.
I see. Do you have a different view? Do you think that the different Islamic texts have a different view about abayas?
No. Ordinarily, what I'm concerned about is the listeners out there, how they are going to, interpret whatever they are hearing from them. The young class that know known.
Yes, but you're calling us. But if you're calling us, you may know these texts, right? Which is why you're saying that the way that they've interpreted it is not good enough. So, do you have some interpretation that you can add that contradicts them or buttresses their point?
There are some certain few observation. About. I have my observation about some of their, submission.
Like what? Go ahead, tell me. Like which one?
No, when they are making references on concerning the abayas, they are making references about abaya in the Quran and in the Hadith and all that. There has to be a referral, to a particular verse of the Hadith and the Quran that says that. You understand? You can't just say things at random just like that, without mentioning, where it is mentioned.
Okay. Is there anywhere where it's mentioned? I don't know. I'm just trying to learn. Is there anywhere where it's mentioned that says if they're wearing abayas, what you should do is harass them, grab them, group them?
It's totally condemned. I'm not talking about the harassment or wherever. I'm just talking about it is more into the way they just put it out there. There is more into the explanation of what has happened. Although harassing is totally out of it. Whosoever is doing that, that should be condemned seriously. But when it comes to abaya itself, it has its own concept. It's broadening. When you want
so you know what it is, but you're not telling us what it is. You know it, but you're not communicating it. I would like for you to communicate what it is, because we're all learning here. So please teach us, Bola.
Okay, actually, when we come from the angle where Islam totally condemns extravagancy, and Islam teaches us how to be moderate and be mindful about whosoever is beside us, about the way we live our lives, don't live the lives extravagant and allow the people around us to feel less of us, less human of us, so many things like that. maybe that's the angle some people that are talking about Abayas are coming from.
I see.
Though we don't have that control, nobody has that control in his or her hand. It's just a kind of advice. Whoever wants to take
But
advice,
what I'm curious about though is how that translates to harassment of the women when they do wear their abayas. How does that translate
why
to
I'm
that?
saying nobody has that control to tell people what maybe they should use it or not.
Okay.
It has to come as a base of just advice. Because the way it comes, even though in Islamic ethics, the way it comes is a form of advice.
Okay.
It's not part of if you don't do it, there is a punishment, or if you do it, there is a punishment, or whatever.
I
It's
see.
they just came as a form of advice that you should be mindful about the way you live your life because of the people that are around you, so that they won't feel less.
Okay. All right. Bola, thank you very much for calling. We appreciate it. 99.3. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for calling. What's your name?
Okay. I am Lizzie. Sandra, please, I just want to understand what Abayas is. That's all.
Okay. Well, they explained it in the beginning, but I'm sure they're going to explain it one more time. Thank you for calling, though. 99.3.
Actually, this is Moses.
Moses,
Hello.
welcome.
Yeah.
Hello.
First, me, I'm hearing abaya since, and I'm hearing it's very, very expensive. It's very expensive. Even in the Bible, it's always advised to dress modestly. And what is modesty? You don't wear expensive things. It's there. It's even written. I'm so surprised at that time. I don't know if they do it, but it's even written that do not do expensive hairstyle to your hair. You understand? But that does not cover people embarrassing people. You understand? But one thing, my advice for anybody is this. No matter how anybody fights it, what is going to happen is going to happen. If you know where you are, this thing you are going to wear is going to call attention of people.
Do you know what an abaya is?
I don't even know.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do.
But I heard that it's expensive.
Here's what we're going to do. Go to my live feed right now on Facebook. Tunde is showing you what an abaya is. Go to my live feed right now and call me back. Live feed on Facebook or YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3, YouTube Nigeria Info FM. Go there right now. Tunde is showing you what it looks like.
Okay, Nigeria Info
99.3 on Facebook.
Anyway.
He's showing you what it looks like. We can't have a conversation if you don't even know what we're talking about. All abayas are not expensive. There are some cheap ones. There are some expensive ones. So first of all, go and see it, understand the issues before you come and share an opinion about it. Gabriel Nikoyi, hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I want to know the other one then where when it's so black, you cover your face down, cover your face, cover your leg, everything. I want to know which particular one is that one.
Okay, I'll ask them. Thank you, Gabriel, for calling. Now, Faiz, you're hearing some of the opinions that we've heard on the show today, and I'm very curious what your thoughts are, Faiz.
Unfortunately, I haven't heard most of them.
Oh!
Honestly, it's been a little.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
Nima, could you hear?
Yes, I did actually. And I just wanted to say something before you actually were on the break to back up what Rafiat had previously said. You know, the funny thing is, if it's not just one video, by the way, Faiz, there were like 3 videos of women getting harassed. There was one that I had that one, I posted it, where the women were walking on the streets and like tons of men were like swarms of bees around them.
Yeah, I'm showing that on our live feed at the moment.
Exactly. Before that video ended, somebody touched that woman. Now imagine if someone had picked up a stone and thrown it on that woman, you know that a very other person will follow suit. Now let me tell you the funny thing, Sandra. If any of those women, or if those women, whilst they started walking on that street, they had 2 men around them, they won't do anything. The men won't do anything to those women. But because those women were alone, and the men around them had heard other sermons from those scholars, they decided to act on what they did, saying these women had no mahram, these women were alone, and they could, do whatever. Basically, they are freebies, and they can do whatever they want to do with them. Now, to the other individual that called and said you shouldn't wear anything expensive, I don't want to say what I want to say because we're on air. They should not go and start showing. But Mr. An abaya, even if it's so expensive, as long as these women can afford it, there's nothing wrong with them wearing it. That's the whole purpose of dressing, right? Are you saying that even if you do realize that if I take a blanket today and make it in the form of an abaya, right? Some people will still claim you are inviting men to come and see you. Even women that wear niqab, even women that wear burqa are still being harassed and groped. All of these things is in the mentality of these men because they see, like Bayes rightly said, because they understand that there are no consequences for their actions. They see women as freebies and they intend to do anything that they want with them. End of.
Now, Rafiat, I have to ask. It's one thing, and I can't believe we're out of time already. Oh my God. So I can't even ask this question. Oh, where does the time go? I swear to God. Okay. Well, we've got so many comments on Facebook, but I do recommend that you go on Facebook and see what an abaya is. We're streaming live and we're showing you what an abaya is. We're showing you the men who were harassing that woman who was walking in the streets while wearing an abaya. We're showing you all the women who wore abayas in solidarity with their fellow women who were being harassed because they were wearing abayas. And I do have to thank Nima for joining us, thank Rafiat for joining us, thank Faiz for joining us. I wish we had more time, but yeah, this show is so good. Everybody wants to buy time on it. So there's never enough time to get into the subject. But I do know that I'll have you three back on so we can keep having this conversation because as you could hear from the calls, there's a lot of education that needs to happen. Thank you for joining us.
Darling, where's this woman now?
My husband. What is it?
See, this message someone's forwarded to me on WhatsApp. It's getting me scared, though.
Before anything scares you, have you verified that it's reliable information from Africa Check on WhatsApp?
Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.